Play your cards right, and this mental bunny will be coming out of more than just a hat if you catch my drift. But Clifford W., Mentos, and the whole playtesting team bring us Wildcard, everybody, and wild she shall be. Perhaps not as crazy as those in the comment sections of this team's previous release here, but some fun trickery is still on the horizon, I feel. And heck, in the event you don't like what you see, just about everything is configurable to your liking, even stuff we won't be discussing. So let's hop to it. And why a mental bunny, you ask? Oh, a whole mess of reasons, my friends. She poofs into the constant, treading on water already with but 100 hunger, 120 sanity, and a whopping 80 health, all of which are below average at best. And even given her 10% decrease in overall hunger drain, plus her rather massive sanity regeneration effect, I can very well see plus 10 sanity per minute, death is gonna loom around every corner regardless. And why? Well, because if the latter of those stats hits 0 at any point, Wildcard won't be cutting the deck any longer. Yes, indeed, folks. Instant death is the threat. But don't fret, as there are some mechanics along the way that can ease the mind a bit. For one thing, Wildcard goes goth the moment she falls below 37 sanity, so if that's your fling, then enjoy it. As yeah, it's really only an aesthetic thing. For another, her built-in magic damage modifier of roughly 20% per hit is going to have a field day with this type of gameplay, as in short, and in typical modded character fashion, the less sanity she has, the more damage she will deal. Not overall, mind, just with magic weapons alone, but you should note that this also includes staffs as well. But hold the flip up, Beard. Are you also dealing contact damage with the fire staff there? Oh, indeed I am, friends. And we'll be doing so with ice staffs too at the end of the day. As what can I say? This magician likes magic for Pete's sake. But the nail in the coffin from all this insanity? She's actually afraid to sleep, and therefore cannot do so at all. And this might hit harder than you think moving forward. As would you believe it, her diet is gonna be all messed up as well. And nothing, and I do mean nothing, is entering this belly without a fuss, and truly the only quote-unquote real food she will be able to eat are carrots, which even then only restore 2 hunger over their original 12.5. Yeah, not great, and it's unfortunately not going to get any better either. As no, your eyes do not deceive you, Wildcard is munching down on nightmare fuel, everyone. The normal stuff will give us decent hunger and healing at the cost of sanity, as you can see. Pure horrors will up the healing to 20 at the cost of more sanity. Dark petals can be consumed for some reason, as they don't really give anything, so don't expect nothing from them. And lastly, Grim Galette is kind of just still Grim Galette, so do with that as you please, as long as you got a Warley. But the main takeaway from all this should be, you best learn how to heal without sleeping and eating. And while all of that will impact her day-to-day gameplay, and you'll have to adjust, so let us just get back to focusing on her main perks, yes? Like her diary, that she just so happens to enter the world with, right alongside some free nightmare fuel. And this diary is interesting to say the least. Put simply, it grants us access to all of Wildcard's unique crafts. However, we'll come to find that perhaps several of them are not so unique after all. She can summon shadow minions, as you can see, and they are essentially old school shadow minions from Maxwell himself, behaviors and all. So it is quite nice to have them back to following us. However, this all feels kind of a bit strange for this character in my opinion, especially when she does have some really interesting crafts to herself, like the toppist hat here. As while it is indeed less effective as a top hat overall, it not only comes with a built-in bush hat ability to let us hide from mobs at any point, but also various buffs depending on which feathers are actually attached to it. Canary ones will up the thing's waterproofness to 50% overall. Crow feathers will offer Wildcard a slight 10% speed boost if that's your thing. Red bird feathers will give us an additional 120 points of summer insulation. And lastly, azure feathers will do the exact same, but for winter instead, of course. It's pretty neat, and can also be expanded upon even further with down and or Melbatross feathers in the future if the modders choose. But that's not all, folks. Not when Wildcards, calling cards, give us one final mechanic worth mentioning. main. Crafting 2 cards per recipe, these recipes can also be given various feathers of our choosing, and if matched with a proper hat, can be consumed for instant teleportation at the cost of the card itself, and 10 points of sanity. Now this is a magic trick, everybody, so make notes and take advantage. But to wrap up our day today comes a whole mess of other perks, like her somewhat inexplicable ability to read any and all of Wickerbottom's novels here, but at the cost of half their original sanity drains. Be mindful though, you can absolutely read yourself to death at the end of the day, which is kind of funny. To continue, although she herself is a bunny, both Bunny Min and Pigs will still target her on sight, as the game does consider her a monster. As we know, Wildcard loves magic, but since she focused on it for all this time, she has actually grown 10% weaker in all other forms of combat, so be aware of that. Come winter, she will change her appearance once more to match her other rabbit friends, which is a nice touch. And finally, her voice, something that is uniquely configurable. However, I could not tell the difference in my testing, so perhaps this is a little done broken, or what's to follow will actually be altered in the future, which I think is pretty cool. So give it a listen. And there you have it, everyone. Wildcard, the Mental Bunny, brought to us by Clifford W, Mentos, Jackman Z, Asterix, and Nick Mix. Her tricks are only just getting started though, as I just so happen to have found both throwing cards and a magician staff in the files of this very character as well, so be sure to keep an eye out on this one for future updates. Wildcard could very well get way more interesting by the day once her theme does come under control. But as always, be sure to show the creators love even if you don't plan on sticking with their work for long, as mods are actually kind of getting hard to come by nowadays. So I appreciate those who still choose to spice this aging game up on occasion. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, play your hands close to your chest, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.